Friday. Built me a shelter against the rain, but the new creature intruded. When I tried to put it out, it shed water through the holes it looks with. She's taken up with a snake now, and I'm glad because the snake talks. It enables me to get some rest.
Sunday. It is pleasant again now, and I am happy. But those were the heavy days, and I do not think of them when I can help it. I tried to give him some of those apples today, but I failed. I think the good intention pleased him. They are forbidden, and he says I shall come to harm. But so I come to harm through pleasing him. Why shall I care for that harm?
Wednesday. About an hour after sunup, as I was riding through a flowery plain where thousands of beasts were playing, slumbering, or grazing according to their wont, when all of a sudden they broke into a tempest of frightful noises, and every beast was destroying its neighbor. But I knew what it meant. Eve had eaten that fruit, and death was come into the world. I looked up, and there was Eve. I was not sorry she came. She brought me one of those apples. I was obliged to eat it. I was so hungry. Against my principle. She came to me curtained in boughs and bunches of leaves. When I asked her what she meant by such nonsense and grabbed them and threw them to the ground, she tittered and blushed. She said I myself would soon know why it was thus. This was correct. I set down the apple half eaten. Certainly the best one I've seen, considering lightness in the food. And then I arranged myself in the discarded boughs and branches and spoke to her with some severity to go and get some more, not make such a spectacle of herself. She did it. And then later we crept to where the wild beast had battled and collected some skins, of which I made her patch together some suits, proper for public occasions. They are uncomfortable, it is true, but stylish. And that's the main point about clothes. I'm coming to realize that she is quite a good deal of a companion. Also, she said it is ordered that we work for her living hereafter. She will be useful, and I will superintend.
Friday. I tried once more to persuade him to stop going over the falls. That is because the fire that I discovered had revealed to me a new passion, quite new and distinctly different from love, grief, and those others that I had already discovered. Fear. And it was horrible.
Friday. Perhaps I've remembered that she is young, a mere girl, and make allowances. She's all eagerness, vivacity, and curiosity. And the world to her is a mystery, a charm, and a joy. She can put just quiet down for a couple minutes at a time. It needs to be much more peaceful around here. In that case, I think I could enjoy looking at her. In fact, I'm sure I could. For I'm coming to realize that she is quite a remarkable creature. She's slender, trim, rounded. And once, when she was standing marble white and sun-drenched against a boulder, with her young head tilted back and her hand shading her eyes, watching the flying bird, I recognized that she was beautiful.
That might change your entire lives. No, I'm not selling anything. I'm here as a representative of the SP, MAB, MMW. Of course, you'll want to know if the SP, MMW is. It is an organization formed to protect man from the conniving intelligences of matrimonially maddened females. A matrimonially maddened female is a female who, upon being introduced to a man, immediately goes out and buys a hope chest and starts stealing silverware from our leading hotels. Our purpose is to combat these female culprits who prey upon this country's blossoming manhood in many nefarious ways. First, we are going to establish a colony where man can never have contact directly or indirectly with females. In this colony, a man may bring up his children as he sees fit. My purpose tonight is to prove to you that in the matter of marriage, man is an innocent victim, a lamb led bleeding to the slaughter. Ignorant, if you will, foolish perhaps, but in his own faltering way, well-meaningly and kindly. A victim who, in competition with the matrimonially maddened females, hasn't a ghost of a chance. I want you to picture a street. Picture a woman on the street. Any woman. I would like to digress here for a moment. In the uncivilized days of the early West, the Indian savage, in anticipation of a massacre, always painted his face. This is a survival of that ancient ceremonial. The lady sends a victim. Here is the victim. Please remember that he didn't even notice her. He's going someplace with a definite purpose.
Oh, they hurt so bad, and gee, I'll get you beautiful cardigan sweaters, and it makes me feel so good.
But we didn't even go on our honeymoon yet. You're innocent. You're still here. I can't believe it. I told that guy with the car, that stupid old man. I told him.
Oh, what's so funny?
You were supposed to disappear to vanish like smoke, but you're still here. You're still here.
Orpheus, I'm melting. I'm going down. Oh, Orpheus, help me.
Stop.
Save me, oh, Orpheus.
Wait,
Help your heart.
stop.
Children, little Orpheus. Orpheus.
I can't.
Help my mother. What's the perfect
Stop. You were saying. Stop. Stop. I can't believe she's gone for the second time.
What do you mean you can't believe it? She's not coming back tonight or any other night.
You didn't even give us 5 lousy minutes to turn the head she vanished.
How could you be so stupid? You could have walked right out of here, straight to the sun without a rest. But no, you had to go botch it up. Everybody was pulling for you too. Some of the biggest guys and a couple of immortals like Rudy Valentino and Florence Nightingale. I bet Georgetta and Henrietta, my best-looking gargoyles on you.
You didn't even give me a chance to explain. It's unfair. It's unjust. I want her in my sight forever.
Oh, if she were a painting, you'd want her in your sights forever. Pretty soon you're going to see a nice pair of legs walking down the street and you're going to forget all about your Eurydice. And just between you and me, she had a mouth like an overseas operator. You could be strapped down with a live-in mother-in-law.
God, I don't know what's worse, to be alive and wretched or dead and happy.
Nobody's happy dead. Now get out of here before I turn you into a weed-grown swamp.
God, I bet the guy's $50 back home when I come back to Ritzy. Now I'm going to go back empty pocketed with a memory.
Wait, pick that up. Clean up down here, and I don't need you messing it up. Oh, Orpheus, work for the future? Look out for those crazy women.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I owe you an apology, or I'll probably be sitting there feeling cheated and disappointed because I promised some blood and violence earlier. But contrary to the author's wishes, we, the gods, decided against that. You see, the theater has these certain honorable conventions, and wanton bloody violence isn't one of them. So we dispatched Orpheus to the other world without any other discomfort or pain. You see, the gods like someone of Orpheus's courage. They're like someone who risks everything, especially when it's all for love. Well, I wish I could tell you that Orpheus got married and became a famous musician and songwriter. But for a while, nobody knew what happened to Orpheus after he left the underworld. Some say he became an organ grinder and died of food poisoning in Istanbul. And others say he moved to New Hampshire and lived there a permanent existence. But what I'm able to understand is that Orpheus moved back to Yonkers and lived there in virtual seclusion. He began to drink, and as the days came shorter and colder, he drew deeper and deeper into the utter loneliness and despair. All he could do is sit there and look at his wedding pictures of Eurydice, listen for her crying voice from afar. One night he destroyed all his instruments. Nothing was left except for the howling wind outside. On New Year's Day, he was struck down by a speeding car and was killed instantly. 5 women were in the car. All were drunk. They were coming back from a party. And no one came to claim the body, so he was given an unmarked gravestone and thrown into an unmarked cemetery. I'm told when someone steps on the spot where he died, they hear music sweeter than all the harps of heaven. But then again, what do I know about heavenly harps? Well, I'm giving a little party tonight for my friend Themis, goddess of justice. And I better go inside and shave. Someone want to kill those lights?
It's cold. I feel as though I'm going to take my examination. But the chief thing is the subtle matters. If a person meditates, hesitates, or waits too long for an ideal of true love, he never gets it. Oh, Bert, it's so cold. Natalia. Oh, she's well educated. Good housekeeper. Not at all bad looking. What more could I ask? And not to marry. Oh, that won't do. I'm 35. A critical age, you might say. I must live a well-regulated life. For you see, I have a weak heart, continual palpitation. I'm always getting excited and nervous, and my lips always tremble, and my head always begins to burst. But the worst is sleep. I hardly begin to lie down and zone before something in my left side begins to pull and tug, and something in my left shoulder begins to hammer. I jump up like a madman. I walk around a little. Down again. By the time I fall asleep, something in my right side begins to pull and tug. Something in my right shoulder begins to come, and so it is all night long.
Ah, it is you. Papa said to come in if there was someone in there to come to Bible. Good afternoon, Ivan.
Oh, good day, Natalia.
You must pardon me for wearing this old dress. We were working today. You haven't come seen us in such a long time. I wonder why.
Well,
look, please sit down.
Thank you.
Would you like some lunch?
Oh, no, you don't get that.
Well, no, do.
Oh, thank
Here's
you.
the napkin.
Thank you.
Today it is beautiful. And only yesterday it rained so hard that the workmen couldn't do a stroke of work. How many bricks have you cut?
But...
Oh, think of it. I'm so afraid of this. Because now I'm afraid it will rot. It would have been better if I had waited. What is this? The latest cut, too. Are you going to a ball?
No,
And you seem to be... You better be silly. Tell me, why you dress so gorgeously?
You see, dear Natalia, simply this. I come to ask you a question. Indeed, it'll be a surprise, and yes, you'll be angry, but how fearfully cold it is.
What is it? Well,
I'll try to be brief. You see, Natalia, ever since I was a child, I've always had the honor to know your families. Your poor mother and your father. The Mamas and the two gods have been, for decades, on the friendliest terms. Yes, indeed, the closest terms. And if you be so kind as to remember, my property joins your own. My meadows touch your birch woods.
pardon the interruption. You said my meadows, but are they yours?
Well, yes, they belong to me.
Well, this is certainly news to me. The meadows belong to me, not to you.
No, my dear Natalia, they belong to me.
No. The meadows belong to me, Ivan.
My dear lady, you must be mistaken. They do belong to me.
Try and remember, Ivan. Was it so long ago that you inherited them?
Long ago? Well, I've owned them ever since, as far back as I can remember.
not a word of truth in that. You'll pardon my saying so.
My dear Italian, I inherited the estate from my aunts and my grandfather, including the meadows. Long ago, well, as far back as I can remember. The property is of no concern to me. Please, if you are agreeable, take them as a gift. I'm only concerned with the principle of the matter.
But I can give them to you because they belong to me. You're very contrary to that, Allen. I don't like it when a person doesn't say what he thinks. You know perfectly well that the meadows belong to me.
No, they belong to me.
That's not so. They belong to me.
They belong to me.
Why must you scream and snort? If you want to scream and snort and rage, you may do it at home.
According-
But here, keep yourself within the limits of common decency.
According to you, then, I'm a usurper, am I not? My dear lady, I never appropriated any other's property, and I shall have no one accuse me of such.
The meadows are mine.
They belong to me.
Oh,
My dear Italia, it is all a matter of record. Please. It was true that at one time, the title to the meadows was disputed. But now everybody knows they belong to me. There is really no point in this discussion. Your great-grandmother put the meadows, free from all costs, into my grandmother's peasant's hands for a certain time while they were baking bricks for my grandfather. Later, when
grandmother, there's not a word of truth in that. My grandfather and my great-grandfather both knew that their estate reached all the way back to the swamp, so that the meadows belong to me. I can't understand it. It is really most annoying.
oh, the meadows belong to me. They have always belonged to me.
That's not true. They belong to me.
They belong to me.
Oh,
I'll prove it to you. I'll show you the papers. But first, be so good as to listen. My respected grandfather, as I have already had the honor to tell you, baked bricks for your great-grandmother's aunt's cousin for a certain time while they were living on the land. They lived on the land 40 years, free from all costs, as if they would live on their own land. Well, later,
there's not a word of truth in that, Ivan. My grandfather, my grandmother, my aunt. I don't know where you're getting all of this from. All I know is that the meadows belong to me, and that ends the matter.
they belong to me, dear Natalia.
That's not the truth. They belong to me.
To me.
Oh, I'll prove it to you. I will send my reapers into the meadows today.
You what?
My reapers will be there today.
Then I'll chase them
If
off.
you dare!
My dear Natalia, why are you screaming?
Why are you talking such nonsense? I don't want to argue with you either. The meadows belong to me, and that's all there is to it.
If you be most agreeable, I will give you the meadows. It is only the principle of the matter that concerns me.
But Ivan, I can give you the meadows because they belong to me. Ivan, I do not wish to argue with you any longer. Please, take your palpitations and leave my home.
And to think I came to propose to you.
Proposal of marriage? For me? Now I'll never get married. Oh, let me ring it down. Ivan! Ivan! Oh, I'm dying. I'm sinking. Oh, somebody bring it back. Ivan! Ivan, please come back.
I forgot my cigarette.
Ivan,
Oh,
but pardon me. I was very angry. Please sit down.
oh, my heart is
Ivan,
bursting.
please sit
Oh,
down.
my leg is lame.
Oh, look, my dear. The meadows, they really do belong to you.
Oh, my head. Oh, my head is. Oh, my meadows. Yes. I'm not concerned with the meadows. I'm only concerned with the principle.
Yes, exactly. The principle. That's it.
Oh. I'm only concerned with the principle.
Enough. Let's talk about something else. Where do I begin? Are you going hunting soon?
Oh, yes. Peacock shooting. I love to begin after the harvest. Oh, you know my dog? Limbs.
How did it happen?
I don't know. Perhaps it's a dislocation. Maybe another dog bit him, or I don't know, kept mating with the sheep. I had to... Wonderful dog. Not to mention the price I paid for him. I paid 120 rubles.
Ivan, that was too much to pay.
Oh, in my opinion, it was very cheap. Wonderful dog.
Well, Papa only paid 80 rubles for our dog, and our dog is much better than yours.
Oh, wait. Your dog better than mine? Oh, that's a laugh. Your dog better than mine.
Well, it is true that my dog is still young, but on the leash or in a pack with 2 or 3, even you must admit, Ivan, that there's no better than he on the land.
Oh, my dear Natalia, you failed to overlook the fact that your dog has a short lower jaw.
Short lower jaw.
Well, yes, I assure you. He has a short lower jaw.
Have you measured it?
He's good at running, though.
Ivan, you were very confident today. You come into my house. First you say that my meadows belong to you, and then you say that your dog is better than mine. I don't like it when a person doesn't say what he thinks. Ivan, this is very peculiar. I don't understand. Why are you doing this?
Your dog has a short lower jaw. You may as well admit that fact.
It's so!
Yes, it is too.
And if you keep on yelling and screaming, and if you put on bicycles and evening clothes, it will not matter, because my dog will still be better than yours.
Oh, be still. My heart is bursting again.
Ivan, you tell me that my dog is better than yours.
My heart.
Explain it to me.
Oh, my
Ivan.
I can't breathe.
Ivan.
I'm ill.
Ivan.
I'm dying.
Tell me my dog is dead. Tell me. Ivan. He's dead. I'll never get married. Someone get a doctor. Oh, I need some water. Someone get the doctor. Oh, she needs some water. Water. He won't drink. He's dead.
Marks, miss, where am I?
Ivan, still alive. Marry me, Ivan. Yes, marry me now.
What? Oh, yes, nice. Yes, I understand. Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm happy too.
Oh, my leg is lame.
At least now you'll admit that my dog is better than yours.
Better? Your dog has a short lower jaw. Worse.
Better.
Worse.
Better.
Trials of matrimony begin. Bring on the champagne. Don't always problems stem from differences between men and women. A crucial part of the battle of the sexes has always been a disagreement over roles. In recent years, this has dealt with women having demanded an increasing role in fields only to men.
Dear Richard, my father said I could call someone to go with us for a ride in hot fudge sundaes. In case you didn't notice, I didn't call you. Your former friend, Janet. P.S. I see you lost your second game. 38-0.
Dear Janet, remember when I took the laces out of my blue and white sneakers? I want it back. Your former friend, Richard.
Dear Richard, congratulations on your unbroken record. 8 straight losses. Wow, I understand you're the laughingstock of New Jersey. Your former friend, Janet. P.S. Why don't you and your team take up something nice, like knitting, and forget about baseball maybe?
Dear Janet, here's your silver horseback riding trophy you gave me. I don't want it anymore. Your former friend, Richard. P.S. I didn't think you were the type to kick a man when he's down.
Dear Richard, I wasn't kicking exactly. I was kicking back. Your former friend, Janet.
What contribution man saves a beautiful, brainless, yet oh so virtuous mate from some unspeakable torture. But now, here we are, trying to repair some of the damage done by those trifling things.
One afternoon, a big wolf waited in a dark forest for a little girl to come along carrying a basket of food to her grandmother. Finally, a little girl did come along, and she was carrying a basket of food.
Carrying that basket to your grandmother?
Asked the wolf. The little girl said,
Why, yes, I am.
Where does your grandmother live?
and so the little girl told him.
Here.
And she disappeared into the wood. When the little girl opened the door to her grandmother's house, she saw that there was someone in bed with a nightcap and nightgown on. She had approached no nearer than 25 feet from the bed when she saw that it was not her grandmother, but the wolf. Eek! For even in a nightcap, a wolf looks no more like her grandmother than the Metro Goldwyn lion looks like Ronald Reagan. So the little girl took an automatic out of her basket and shot the wolf dead. Moral? It isn't as easy to fool little girls nowadays as it used to be.
We also understand TV reading cartoons about men and their weekly poker games. We poke fun at them and how they devour pizza, smoke cigarettes, and drink beer. But what if the tables were turned? Let's take a look now at if men play cards as women do.
And don't forget, use the best china and the filigree doilies. And at 11 o'clock, just put the cigars and the drinks right on the table and we'll stop playing. Come in.
Hi, John.
Hello, Bob.
Thought I'd come over early and see if you need help with lunch.
That's all right. Everything's ready. Baked the cake. Say, that's a nice hat.
It's not new, though. This old thing, got this at Knox in the spring, don't you remember? Then everyone started wearing their band's hire, and I said to myself, why should I buy a new hat when everyone's wearing their band's hire, and I can have a tailor hire it just as easily as not? Don't you like it?
Very attractive. May I try it on? What do you think?
Lovely. Makes your face look thinner. So, who's playing tonight?
George and Mark.
Oh, George, huh? Tell me, don't you think he's looking really old these days? How about him and Ethel? Are they getting along any better?
Not as good.
Yeah, funny what she saw in him.
Come in.
Hello, boys.
Hello, George.
I never saw you look so young.
Well, I try. Oh, say, I just got done talking to Ed Jennings on the street, and he said Jim Perkins told him that Will Harper's wife really loved him.
No.
What do you think of that? The room looks lovely, John. You changed things around in the house. Awfully nice, but if you don't mind a little suggestion, I'm not sure I like that table up there you've got, and you've had these chairs upholstered in blue.
What do you think of playing gin?
Oh, no, that would be nice. Oh, say, Bob, I have a TL for you.
Well, what is it?
Well, you owe me one first.
Oh, come on, don't be mean. Tell me mine.
Okay. Frank Williams said that you look lovely in your turn jacket.
Yeah, I do.
How's baby, George?
Awfully cranky lately. He's teasing, you know. Left him with the nurse tonight. First time I've had in ages to get out. Who else is coming?
Just Mark.
Oh, is he? Say, I want to speak to you boys about Martin. Don't you think someone's saying a lot of Fleming woman lately?
He certainly has.
Right.
He was at the Biltmore with her yesterday.
No kidding.
I know because a cousin of Tom Henderson saw him.
Whose cousin is that?
Let's see, I don't think you know him. Tom Wilson? Oh, he's married to that Akron girl. You know they have 2 kids. You know, one of them's backwards.
Well, yeah, I heard that. Come in.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, Mark. I'm sorry to be the last, but we have a new maid. You know what that means.
That's
That's all right. Say, I like the cut of that vest, Mark. Look, boys, don't you like that vest?
Oh,
Isn't
say,
it?
look. That little tailor comes in $4 a day.
Excuse me.
There's a little spot.
Oh, so you play a little poker?
Yeah,
beer.
Really wanted to go get that water myself. I wanted to see his kitchen.
Good work.
Well, thanks, John.
It's cold enough?
Yeah, sure. I generally put ice in it myself.
Say, we had the loveliest new dessert tonight.
What was it? It's hard to find new recipes these days.
Is it?
Well, it's sort of a prune whip. You make it out of really nothing at all, then when company comes and they least expect it.
I want the recipe for that.
How many eggs?
Does it take much butter?
Oh, no, very little. I'll bring the recipe to you.
Well, boys, are we ready?
No, wait, just 1 minute. There we are.
That's nice, John.
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
Well, I bought a yard of this plain sateen out of Macy's.
Oh, really? How much was it?
$1.63. It was reduced. Then I had this edge in the house.
This is awfully nice.
Yeah.
Say, Walter Sharp was down at Paris,
He did?
and he said the house was longer over there.
You don't say.
When we played
You know how
for,
that
boys.
goes in France, I know.
What we played for?
What's the difference? 1 cent limit?
Doesn't matter who deals.
Say, did you hear about Eddie Parker?
No.
Well, it seems he saw these advertisements about how to get fit on TV. You know he's gained a lot of weight from marriage.
20 pounds. Absolutely.
Well, he sent him some powders and decided to try them. And what do you think?
Well?
What?
What?
Well, come on, tell us.
You don't say.
Guys, what? You're kidding.
You even had to go to the hospital for it and everything.
Yeah.
Go back, case.
Well, who else cards?
3rd-degree burns. Oh, here they are.
I don't want to play late today. I've been shopping all day.
And I have an appointment for the barber tomorrow. How much time do I get my hair done?
Are kings higher than aces?
These part of Bill King's clubs? Send them over to the same thing.
Penny apiece.
I'll say, Lord and Taylor are having a wonderful selling nightgown.
Yeah.
What do you think of me?
65, but she's not worth it.
65?
Yeah,
Are you kidding? They're not even
Boys,
kids.
listen to this, boys.
Lazy.
I knew there was something I wanted to tell you.
Yeah?
Now, in the first place, you must promise not to bring the word of this to anyone, because I got an absolute confidence. I promise I wouldn't tell
What
you.
is it?
Same thing.
It's about Sid Heflin. Now, you won't say anything. Please don't let our ducks hang.
No.
Well, I'm told, and I got this pretty straight, mind you, I'm told that he's going to,
I don't believe
What do you
it.
mean?
in April.
When?
In April.
April?
April?
Do you mean?
Exactly, they were married late in January.
Oh my
But what would we do without the creative and imaginative talents of the female mind? Why, women have even gone beyond the limits of the earth and taken their influence into the heavens. I read in the newspaper recently that Women's Lib is very upset because there have been no women astronauts. What nobody knows is that there was a woman astronaut, but the people in charge of the program have kept it a deep, dark secret. Through a source that must remain secret, I was able to get a transcript of America's first attempt to launch a woman astronaut into space. It took place some 6 months ago, and the would-be astronaut's name was Mrs. Lila Perkins, a housewife who had volunteered for the program. Mrs. Perkins was placed in the capsule 6 o'clock one morning. Here, an exact record of what transpired.
Okay, Mrs. Perkins, this is tower control. We're all set to go.
Thank you, Mr. Mahoney.
I'm starting the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7.
Oh, Mr. Mahoney,
Yes, Miss Perkins.
I don't think I'm quite zipped up, dear.
Launch control, go up there and zip up, Miss Perkins.
Mr. Mahoney,
Yes, Miss Perkins.
do you think I'm doing the right thing? That is wearing a silver spacesuit with the green oxygen mask?
Miss Perkins, you've changed your spacesuit 3 times this morning. You can't wait any longer.
I think a more neutral color would have been best, particularly since I'll be going around night and day.
Miss Perkins, you look beautiful just as you are. Shell zipped up launch control? Okay, let's get started. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Oh, Mr. Mahoney,
Yes, Miss Perkins.
I forgot to tell my husband something.
Miss Perkins, we're trying to get you launched on time.
Well, it's important.
Launch control, plug in the phone to her home.
Hello, dear. Did you find your breakfast in the icebox? Now, don't get angry. You said I could work part-time. Well, it was the only job I could find. Are the live photographers there to catch the anguish look in your face as I go into space? Now, don't let them photograph the bedrooms. I didn't have time to make the bed this morning. Oh, okay, dear. See you in about 3 hours. Bye.
Miss Perkins, please, can we get you off the launching pad?
Oh, you're such a fuss budget, Mr. Mahoney. All right, I'm...
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Oh, Mr. Mahoney!
Yes, Miss Perkins.
What am I supposed to do for Australia again?
You're supposed to look for the lights of Perth.
That's right. Now I remember.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, do I push the black button with the green light to re-enter, or was it the blue light with the white button?
You push the red lights with the yellow buttons. How many times do I have to tell you?
Well, you don't have to get so excited. I can't remember everything.
Miss Perkins, we repainted the interior of your space capsule 3 times in 3 different colors at your suggestion. We've rearranged the instrument panel around 4 times to suit your decorative taste. We've installed a mirror and a dressing table so that you can look your best when you go out of the capsule. But now we have to get you off the launching pad.
All right, Mr. Mahoney, if you feel so strongly about it.
Starting the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Oh, Mr. Mahoney!
5,
Mr. Mahoney, I'm calling!
4,
Mr. Mahoney, can you hear me?
3,
Mr. Mahoney, I'm calling!
2. What is it, Miss Perkins?
I've got a run in my stocking.
That is the end of the transcript. No one knows if Mrs. Perkins made it or not. The only person who can shed any light on this subject is Mr. Mahoney. But he's in a mental institution now, and all he does all day is sit there and keep muttering.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the Miss Perkins?
In the next 2 sketches, we see some dissatisfied customers.
Mr. Friebel was a club middle-aged lawyer from Scarsdale. He used to kid enough for about running away with him.
Run away together.
He would say during a classification.
Alrighty.
She would say. But one rainy Monday afternoon, Mr. Friebel was more serious about than usual.
Let's run away together.
Alrighty.
Mr. Friebel jingled the keys in his pocket. Wow.
My wife is glad to give her.
Would she give you a divorce?
I don't suppose so.
Well, you'd have to get rid of your wife.
Mr. Friebel was unusually silent at dinner that night. About a half hour after coffee, he spoke without looking up from his paper.
Honey, let's go down in the cellar.
What for?
I don't know. We never go down in the cellar. The way we used to.
We never did go down in the cellar that I can remember. I could rest easy the balance of my life if I never went down in the cellar.
Mr. Free was silent for several minutes.
Well, supposing I said I meant a whole lot to me.
What's come over you? It's cold down there and there's absolutely nothing to do.
We could pick up pieces of coal. We might even get up some kind of game with the pieces of coal.
I don't want to. Anyway, I'm reading.
Listen, why don't you come down the cellar with me? You can read down there as far as that goes.
There isn't good enough light. Look, I'm not going down the cellar. You may as well make up your mind to that.
Gee whiz.
Said Mr. Free, kicking me under the rug.
Other people's wives go down the cellar. Wives who never want to do anything. I come home worn out from the office. You won't even go down the cellar with me. God knows it isn't very far. It isn't as if I've asked you to go to the movies.
I don't want to go.
He sat on the edge of the davenport.
All right.
He picked up the newspaper again.
Listen, why don't you let me tell you more about it? It's kind of a surprise.
Will you quit harping on that subject?
Listen, I might as well tell you the truth. I want to get rid of you so I can marry my stenographer. Is there anything especially wrong with that? People do it every day. It's something you can't control.
We've been all over that. I am not going to go all over that again.
You have to take everything so literally. Good Lord, do you suppose I really want to go down the cellar and make up some silly game of pieces of coal?
I never believed that for a minute. I knew all along you weren't going down there to bury me.
You can say that now, after I told you, but the thought would have never occurred to you if I hadn't.
You didn't tell me. I got it out of you. And besides, I'm only 2 steps ahead of what you're thinking.
What's a mile of what I'm thinking?
Is that so? I knew you wanted to bury me the minute you stepped foot in this house tonight.
Now that's just plain darn exaggeration. You knew nothing of the stuff. I didn't even think of it until just a few minutes ago.
It was in the back of your mind. I suppose this filing woman put you up to it.
Me, sorry, Kathy. I have plenty of people to file for me without having her file. I didn't even tell her about it. She hasn't even in on it. I was going to tell her you went to visit some friends and fell off a cliff. She need to get a divorce.
That's a laugh. That's a laugh. You may bury me, but you'll never get a divorce.
She knows that. I told her that. I told her I'd never get a divorce.
Oh, and I suppose you told her about wanting to bury me, too.
That's not true. That's between you and me.
You've blabbed it to the whole world. Don't tell me. I know you.
He puffed out a cigar.
I wish you were very bright now and it was all over with.
Don't you think you'd get caught, you crazy thing? They always get caught. Why don't you just go to bed? You're getting yourself all worked up over nothing.
I'm not going to bed. I'm going to bury you in the cellar. I got my mind made up to it. I don't know how I can make it any plainer.
Listen!
Cried Mrs. Stewart, throwing down the book.
Will you be satisfied if I go down in the cellar? Will you give me a little peace and quiet if I go down in the cellar? Will you leave me alone then?
Yes? Spoil it by keeping that.
Sure. Sure! I always spoil everything! I quit reading in the middle of the chapter! I'll never know how the story comes out! But that's nothing to you!
If I make you start reading the book.
He opens the cellar door.
Here, you go first.
Brr!
Said Mrs. Greenwell, starting down the steps.
It's cold down here. You would think of it this time of year. Any other man would have buried life in the summertime.
You can't arrange this thing so it's whenever you want to. I've been falling in love with this girl for late fall.
Any other man would have fallen in love with her a long time ago.
sunny morning, a man who sat on a breakfast nook looked up from the scrambled eggs and noticed there was a white unicorn with a gold horn above his forehead, quietly cropping roses in his garden. As soon as he saw this, he ran upstairs and woke his wife.
There's a unicorn in the garden eating roses.
She opened one unfriendly eye and looked at him.
The unicorn is a mythical beast.
So the man, as soon as she said this, the man slowly walked downstairs and noticed now the unicorn was now browsing among the tulips.
You're a unicorn.
Said the man, and gave the unicorn a lily. The unicorn ate it gratefully, with a high heart, because there was, in fact, a unicorn in his garden. He ran upstairs and roused his wife.
The unicorn ate a lily.
You are a booby, and I'm going to have to put you in the booby hatch.
The man who had never liked the word booby or booby hatch, especially on a sunny morning when there was a unicorn in the garden, thought for a moment.
We'll see about that.
He walked over to the door.
The unicorn has a gold horn in the middle of its forehead.
He walked back down to the garden to watch the unicorn, but the unicorn had gone away. So, disappointingly, he fell asleep among the roses. As soon as he had left, his wife jumped out of bed. She was very excited and there was a glow in her eye. She hurried over, phoned the psychiatrist and the police, and told them to.
Hurry over and bring a straitjacket.
As soon as the police arrived, the police and psychiatrists arrived, they sat in chairs and looked at him with great interest.
My husband told me that he saw a unicorn in the garden this morning.
The police looked at the psychiatrist.
And the psychiatrist looked at the police.
He said that it had a golden horn in the middle of its forehead.
At a solemn signal from the psychiatrist, the police leaped from their chairs and seized the wife. At first, they had a hard time subduing her, for she put up a terrible struggle. But, in time, they subdued her and took her away. As soon as they got her in the straitjacket, the husband arrived.
Did you tell your wife you saw a unicorn?
Of course not. The unicorn is a mythical beast.
That's all I need to hear. Take her away.
I'm sorry, sir, but your wife is crazy as a jaybird.
So they took her away, cursing and screaming, and locked her up in an institution. And the husband,
I lived happily ever after.
so the moral of this story is don't count your boobies until they're hatched.
Ah, yes, the battle rages on. And who emerged victorious? But it doesn't really matter. For in the end, aren't we all in this little game together?
Dear Janet, Doug's having his tonsils out tomorrow. We might be able to let you catch next week. Richard.
Dear Richard, I pitch. Janet.
Dear Janet, Danny's moving to Kansas, and Eddie, he sprained his wrist. How about a permanent place in the outfield? Richard.
Dear Richard, I pitch. Remember? Janet.
Dear Janet, Bob broke his toe, and Tony, he got the chicken pox, and Elvin's got stupid violin lessons. How about first base? And that's my final offer. Richard.
Dear Richard, Susan Riley plays first base. Marilyn Jackson catches. Ethel Kahn plays center field. And I pitch. It's a package deal. Janet.
Dear Janet, please not Marilyn Jackson! Richard.
Dear Richard, no one ever said I was unreasonable. How about Lizzie Martindale instead? Janet.
Dear Janet, can you please name your goldfish Richard again? Your friend, Richard.
we have tried to show you some of the more humorous aspects in the Battle of Sexes.
We have not intended any bias towards men or women.
But we've only tried to pose and reflect upon the special and unique differences in each.
For after all, what would we do without each other?
Hasn't it once been said that love makes the world go round?
After the fall. As I look back, the garden was just a dream to me. It was beautiful, surpassingly beautiful, enchantingly beautiful. And now it is lost, and I shall not see it again. The garden is lost, but I have found him, and am contented. He loves me as well as he can, and I love him with all the strength of my passionate nature. And this, I think, is proper to my youth and sex. But if I ask myself why I love him, I find that I do not know, but it doesn't matter. It is not on account of his gracious and considerate ways, or his delicacy that I love him. No, he has lacks in these qualities, but is well enough just so, and is improving. It is not on account of his chivalry that I love him. No, it's not that. Then why do I love him? Merely because he is masculine to me. He is strong and handsome, and I love him for that. And I am proud of him, and I admire him for that. But I could love him without these qualities. I should love him, work for him, slave over him, and pray for him until I die. Yes, I think I love him merely because he is masculine and is mine. There is no other reason, I suppose. This kind of love just comes. No one knows when. It cannot explain itself, but it doesn't have to. This is what I think. But I am only a girl, and the first that has examined this matter. And in my ignorance and inexperience, it may turn out that I have not got it right.
10 years later. After all these years, I see that I was mistaken about you from the beginning. I've noticed that it's better to live outside the garden with her than inside the garden without her. Yeah, at first I thought she talked too much, but now she feels sad to hear her voice fall silent and pass out of my life. Blessed be the sweetness of her spirit and the goodness of her heart.
40 years later, it is my prayer, it is my longing that we should pass forth from this life together, a longing which shall have a place in the heart of every wife that loves until the end of time, and it shall be called my name. But if one of us must go first, it is my prayer that it shall be I, for without him would not be life. How would I endure it? This prayer is also immortal, and shall not cease from being offered up while my race continues. I am the first wife, and the last wife, and I shall be repeated.
At Eve's grave, wheresoever she was, there was Eve.
Tonight we're bringing a satirical look at a battle we were all involved in, even from birth.
Yes, that lifelong battle known as the Battle of the Sexes.
The stage is set.
The players are in place.
So let us begin from the beginning.
The most unlikely place for a battle.
The Garden of Eden?
Or is it? Good.
deal in the way. It's always hanging around and following me about. I wish it would stay with the other animals. Cloudy today. Wind and east. I think we shall have rain. We? Where did I get that one? I know now. The new creature.
Tuesday. I followed the other experiment around yesterday afternoon to see what it might be used for, if I could. But I couldn't make it out. I think it is a man. I had never seen a man, but I feel sure that that is what it is. I realize that I feel more interest toward him than any of the other reptiles. It is strange. It has no hairs. It tapers like a carrot when it stands and spreads itself apart like a derrick. Maybe it's architecture. I was afraid of it at first, for I thought it was going to chase me. But by and by I realized it was only trying to get away. So I camped it along for several hours, about 20 yards at a time, which made it nervous and it climbed the tree. I waited a while, then gave up and went home.
Sunday. Old after early. This day is getting to be more and more trying. It was set apart last November as a day of rest. Already had 6 of them for a week before. This morning found the new creature trying to collect apples out of that forbidden tree.
Wednesday. It is up in the tree again. Roosting, apparently. It looks to me like it's a creature more interested in resting than anything else.
Full.
Wednesday. And our location is not kind. When I went there earlier this evening, it had crept down from the tree and was trying to catch a little speckled fishes that play in the pool. Well, I had to caught it to make it go back to the tree and let them alone. It used language. It gave me a thrill, for I never heard speech, except my own. When I found it could talk, I felt a new interest for it, for I love to talk. I talk all day and in my sleep, too.
Tuesday. I wish it would not talk. It's always talking. Right on my shoulder, right on my ear. And I am only used to the sounds I'm more or less distant from.
Next Sunday. All week I tagged around after him and tried to get acquainted. I had to do all the talking because he was shy. But I didn't mind it, and I used the sociable we a great deal, because it seemed flattering to be included.
Thursday. She said she was made off a rib taken from my body. This is probably doubtful, for I have not missed any rib.
Monday. This morning I told him my name, but he took no interest in it. It is strange, for if he should tell me his name, I think it would be more pleasant in my ears than any other sound.
Monday. The new creature says its name is he. That is all right. I have no objections. It says it is not an it, it is a she. This is probably doubtful, yet it is all one to me what she is, or nothing to me if she would but go by herself and not talk.
Tuesday. No, he took no interest in my name. I tried to hide my disappointment, but I suppose I did not succeed. I went away and sat on the moss bank with my feet in the water. It is where I go when I hunger for companionship. Someone to look at, someone to talk to. It is not enough that lovely white body painted there in the pool, but it is something, and something is better than utter loneliness.
Hold through.
Wednesday. We are getting along very well indeed now. We're getting better acquainted. He does not try to avoid me anymore, which is a good sign and shows he likes to have me with him.
Saturday. She has taken to beseeching me to stop going over the falls. What harm does it do? Says it makes her shudder. I wonder why. Went over the falls in a barrel. Not satisfactory to her. Went over in a tub. Still not satisfactory. Swam the whirlpool and the rapids in a big leaf suit. It got much damage. And tedious complaints about my extravagance. I have too much hampered here when I needed a change of scene.
Wednesday. During the last day or two, I have taken all the work of naming things off of his hands, for he has no gift in that way. He can't think of a rational name to save him. But I do not let him see that I'm aware of his defect. Whenever a new creature comes along, I name it before he has a chance to expose himself by an awkward signs. The minute I set eyes on the creature, I know what it is. When the dodo came along, he thought it was a wildcat. I saw it in his eyes. But I saved him. I just spoke up in quite a natural way and said, "Well, I do declare, that is the dodo."
Wednesday. I get no chance to name anything myself. The new creature names everything that comes along, and always the same pretext is offered. It looks like the thing. The dodo, for instance. The moment one sees it at a glance, it looks like a dodo. Dodo. It looks no more like a dodo than I do.
And so the battle began, even with Father Adam and Mother Eve. And today, in this new age of enlightenment, even from the first outcries of the nursery, the battle has, yes indeed, continued on.
than boys, and we never pick on anybody.
Well, boys are specialer.
Well, girls when they grow up can have babies, and boys can't.
Well, boys' bodies are special on the outside.
Well, girls' bodies are special on the inside. Girls have long hair, and boys don't.
That's not true. My brother's got just as long hair as you do.
Yeah, boys wear pants and girls wear dresses.
I wear pants all the time.
I don't get it. It's all too strange.
It's all confused.
In some ways, we're different from girls.
But in some ways, we're not different at all.
Yeah, in some ways, we're different.
But in other ways, the same.
Yeah, we all have parts. And brains.
And hands and legs, and we all eat hot dogs.
All grown up.
We all go to sleep.
And we all wake up.
And we all go to the bathroom.
And when I steal cookies out of your lunchbox, what do?
I get mad.
So do I. And when I fall down and cut my knee real bad, I cry. So do I.
Well, I don't.
Yes, you do. We saw you. So in some ways we're different.
But mostly, we're the same.
I wonder why that is.
I wonder who's to blame.
In some ways we're different.
But mostly, we're the same.
How come?
Because
We're all people.
Yes, we are all people. But when you're 6, the opposite sex is sometimes viewed as something other than human. It's a matter of one-upmanship.
Boys and girls can do gymnastics and swim.
Girls can wear sewing suits and leotards with lacy trim. Boys and girls can run and play. Girls practicing tennis every day.
Boys and girls can ride like the wind on horseback.
Girls can wear fancy ribbons and make them babies on the grass.
Well, boys and girls can dress up for Sunday school.
Girls can wear fancy dresses and long braids, which is right cool. Boys with bloody noses and sleepwalking and me. Girls scrape their knees, but not as much as it seems. Boys and girls put transformers and little ponies.
Girls are great at both.
And that's not baloney.
Well, boys and girls grow up to be big and tall.
But that's not all.
Boys don't have such useful tummies.
They can't grow up to be mommy. I'm glad I'm a girl. A girl plays skates. She's a human being, someone to make friends with.
Girls can be friends with a boy. He's a human being, too. Boys can be a brother to a sister.
When you're little, you want to run and grow up. But when you're grown up, you see how cute little girls are, and you want to be a little girl again. When you were little, girls were a pain in the neck. But when you grow up, you realize that they aren't so bad after all, and you're glad you grew up.
And I'm glad I'm a boy.
Dear Richard, don't invite me to your birthday party because I'm not coming. And give me back that Disneyland sweatshirt I said you could wear. I'm not good enough to play on your team. I'm not good enough to be friends with your former friend, Janet. P.S. I hope when you go to the dentist you find 20 cavities.
Dear Janet, here's your stupid Disneyland sweatshirt. If that's where you're going to be, I want my comic books back now, finished or not. No girls ever played on the Main Street baseball team. And as long as I'm coach, no girl ever will. Your former friend, Richard. P.S. Hope when you go for your checkup, he gives you a tetanus shot.
Dear Richard, I'm changing my goldfish's name from Richard to Stanley. And don't count on my vote next year for class president. Just because I'm a girl and a member of the ballet club doesn't mean I'm not a terrific baseball player, too. Your former friend, Janet. P.S. I see you lost your first game. 28-0.
Dear Janet, I'm not saving any more seats for on the bus. For all I care, you can stand the whole way to school. Why don't you just forget about baseball and learn something nice, like knitting? Your former friend, Richard. P.S. Wait till the next baseball game.
Speaking of playing games, do you remember when Frisbee was just a game, and it didn't matter if you were a girl or a boy, and then suddenly, as you grew up, things began to become unclear, and your thinking got all mixed up.
When you're a toddler, you don't know and you don't care who's a boy and who's a girl. So if you want the Frisbee, you take it, even if it's from a boy.
When you're 5, you're beginning to know the difference between boys and girls, but you don't think it matters. So you try to take the Frisbee anyway. You give me that Frisbee! When you're 9 years old, you notice the difference between boys and girls. And to avoid the hassle, you get your own Frisbee.
When you're 10, the chase is on. Because the one with the Frisbee is kids.
When you're 12, you don't want Frisbee anymore. You want perfect hair, makeup, and trendy clothes. When you're 14, you sit on the Frisbee until your boyfriend on the football team. Go! Go! When you're 16, you ask guys if they want to play Frisbee. You're not ready yet to that. Hey, want to play Frisbee?
When you're 18, it's a quick game of tackle Frisbee on the beach party. So, let the games begin.
Oh, the games people play. And first love, will there ever be anything like it again? For me, it all started in the 4th grade. Love strikes its arrow at different moments for each of us. But when it hits, it can be both painful and humorous. Let's see a glimpse of several couples and the way they handled the first stirrings of romance.
And I've got something 10 times funnier than that. It's called a goddess in tennis shoes.
Great, let's hear it.
Okay, you play a goddess.
A goddess, you gotta be kidding.
I'm not. Ready? Let's go. My mind wandered free from the purpley diddle sheet that glared up at me.
Now, class, you must concentrate on your spelling then.
While my 4th grade classmates labored like vassals in medieval England, I ventured fearlessly into the hallways of a Gothic castle. I knew the odds I had to face.
Sir Butch, Warwick Castle is manned by 500 guards.
And their swords are tipped with poison.
Deep within me surged a raw courage which no other human had ever experienced. Blood boiled and froth bubbled at the corners of my lips. Stealthily, I slid my sword from its scabbard. With an intense fury, I charged into the jaws of death. Millions and millions of guards pressed upon me. They oozed in from secret passageways and hidden battlements. Wave upon wave of arrows rained upon my shield. Then, with the strength of a score of men, I methodically slashed down the demented fiends. Finally, the brutal conflict was over. All was silent. Wild anticipation in my throbbing chest. I lunged toward the oaken door, which behind lay my treasure. I reached out a trembling hand and threw it open. And there, with her back to me, was my goddess. She was taking a spelling test.
Are you concentrating on your test?
Her desk lay right in front of mine, but miles of space lay between us. She, a goddess, and me, merely an underpaid defender of righteousness and freedom. I struggled to spell some insignificant word. Its meaning I knew not. Was it I before E except after C, or was it X before Q except after K? I left that one blank.
Butch, are you finished with your test?
Yes, Miss McNoodle.
Sit down and remain quiet.
What a vision. I loved everything about her. I even loved her wonderful yet evil romantic name, Hattie. And I loved her hair, the way it hung low on the front of my desk.
Cut it out!
I even loved her dulcet voice. And her ears. Oh, I loved her ears. They had style and grace. And she had a way of chewing her number 2-letter pencil that drove me wild. She had teeth marks.
Butch, be quiet.
What impressed me most was her attire. While the other girls wore little girl sandals or slip-ons, she had the most fantastic black tennis shoes I've ever beheld. They were daringly low cut with red stripes down the side. What a woman. Now came time for my perilous journey home. I kept the hands on the hilt of my trusty sword as thrice that week I'd been ambushed by marauding highwaymen, but thrice I'd beaten them back and emerged triumphant without even a smudge on my gleaming armor.
Stop it, John!
Hark, what do I hear?
I'm gonna tell my mama!
It's Hattie. It was Moose Probing, the local 6th grade bully. Heroes never have to worry about time. I seized my blade and wheeled it above my head, ready to strike.
Don't you dare move it!
I hit you, what? For the fight? No? Good. I stared through the visor as I watched the monster disappear in the mist of Coeur. Then, miraculously, my sword flew out of the air. That was fortunate because I had to slay a dragon and save a toad from an evil wizard on the way home.
It won't work out. Nothing I do ever works out. I'd ask her, she'd laugh at me. I'd be the laughing stock of the whole school. But then again, I could ask her, she could see us have a perfectly good time, get married, have kids. Who am I kidding? That would never happen. But if I did ask her, how would I do it?
Brian should be calling me any minute now. I know he likes me by the way he smiles at me in the halls of school. So cute. And I know he'd look just great together at that dance.
I know. She likes the intellectual type. I do something like, hello, Lenny? Yeah, it's a rather pleasant day out there, isn't it? Yes, I was wondering if you'd like to accompany me to the dance on Friday night, precisely 7 p.m. Oh, that'd be splendid. Makes me sound like a nerd.
I wonder why he hasn't called me yet. Maybe he made other plans or can't go. No, I know he forgot about it. But how could he do that? It's only the biggest event of the school year.
I know. She likes the macho type. Girls go for that kind of stuff. Yo, Wendy! Yeah, you're going with me to the dance on Friday night, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah, well, you better look spectacular, because if you don't, you know what that could do to my image. Makes me sound like a retarded Rambo.
He's so popular, he wouldn't ask me. And anyway, he's probably asked someone else. Those smiles, they were probably him just being friendly. Ginger says it's the 80s, and to go ahead and ask him. But what if he says no? It'd be all over school tomorrow.
She likes the shy type. There's this new thing going around or something. Somewhere in Belgium or something. Hello, Wendy? I know you party, have plans and everything, but I was wondering if you'd like to go with me to the dance on Friday night? I mean, you don't have to say yes, you can say no. You can commit suicide or something. That is lame. I might as well do an obscene phone call like, hello, Wendy? You don't know who I am, but you better go to the dance with Brian on Friday night or I'll sneak in your house and cut your throat. No, Mom, I didn't ask you yet. Get off my case, you old bag.
Okay, this is it. I guess if I really want to go, I'll have to call him.
Hello.
Hi, Brian.
Yeah?
This is Wendy.
Oh, hi, Wendy.
I was wondering, I mean, maybe you've already asked someone, but would you like to go to the dance with me on Friday?
You're asking me to the dance on Friday? 1 second, okay? Yes, this is so awesome! I cannot believe this is happening! Thank you, God. That'd be cool.
Really? I was so nervous about calling you. I thought you'd say no.
Huh. Whoever gave me that idea? So I'll pick you up around 6 then?
That sounds great.
Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes!
Yeah!
What's the matter?
Nothing. I told you I'm no good at that stuff.
Well, how are you supposed to learn if you don't try?
I wish Ernie was here. He goes to dances all the time. Real ones downtown.
Come on, dance with you, not Ernie.
I'd give anything if I could be like him.
Now why?
Because he's a smooth talker. I admire that in person. I always get things twisted up.
What sort of thing?
Things I wonder about. One thing that really bothers me. I tried telling my mom about it, but
But what?
every time she looks at me, it's as if she sees something small and pink and wrapped up in a blanket.
Well, try telling me.
See, if Becca's really ought to be someone so special.
Who doesn't? I want to be a poet. What's sillier than that?
Yeah, but you got what it takes. I'm just ordinary.
Ordinary. Is that what you think? You think I'd hang around with you if I didn't think you're going to be special?
You do?
Of course, that's why you and I can talk.
I guess we do talk better than most people. My friends at school, even Ernie, I mean, they figured it out. I don't really know anyone at all. Not even my own folks. Does that sound crazy?
Not to me.
Well,
It seems to me the only people who really know each other are the people in love.
maybe.
Arthur, how do you suppose to be in love with someone?
Don't ask me.
Well, because I think I'm in love with you.
What are you a kid like that for?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. I thought we were talking serious.
Well, if that's your attitude, I'm sorry I just told you.
But Janet, you were kidding, right? But Janet,
Don't worry about it. In my age, it's perfectly natural to have crushes on people.
yeah, but why me?
Frankly, I don't know. You're not the most handsome guy in the world.
Thanks.
You see, I'm very objective about you. My mistake is I told you how I felt. Norma was right. You should let a guy know how you feel about him.
Norma doesn't know everything.
She knows plenty.
When did you find out? I mean, about me.
I can tell you the exact second. Remember the English test this morning?
Yeah.
I saw you trying to decide whether or not to cheat from Billy Robinson's paper, turning sideways, leaning back, and all you had to do was look over. But you didn't. I started to laugh, at least I thought I was, but I was actually starting to cry. Now everything you do is funny, and at the same time, it's not funny. Well, say something.
I don't know what to say.
I guess you don't.
Don't be mad.
I'm not mad.
Yes, you are.
I really made a fool of myself
persuaded me, and I could not believe it, for I loved to be with him and I loved to hear him talk. So I went away and sat lonely in the place that I first saw him the morning that we were made. But now it was a mournful place, and every little thing spoke of him, and my heart was very sore. And it was all a mystery, and I went to the new shelter they had built to ask him what I had done and how I could get back his kindness again. But he put me out in the rain, and it was my first sorrow.
And as a result, he is suffering under the financial problems that the combined geniuses of Einstein and Henry Kaiser would be unable to solve. For instance, his salary is $75 a week. It costs him $15 to take her out for one evening, and she graciously accepts her own invitation to go out with him every 4 out of 7.
4 times 15 is 60, plus 5 more flowers.
For the first time in his life, he buys flowers, and no one is dead.
That's 65 bucks a week.
That is what it is now costing him for having been kind to a female. Here she comes now.
Hello, Elmer. I'm sorry I'm late, but my taxi was stalled.
She came on a bus. She saves her money.
I dish.
So what are we going to do this evening?
Huh?
What's wrong, Elmer? You look worried. Aren't you well?
The poor guy has only $10, and if you can judge events of the future by the events of the past, he's about $5 short.
Elmer, I've been thinking today, and I feel frightfully guilty. You've been spending altogether too much money on me, and I'm not going to let you do it any longer. We must be more economical.
The opening gun in the marriage campaign.
Tonight you're not going to spend 1 cent on me.
Then you've eaten dinner all good.
No,
No.
but we won't go to an expensive restaurant. Tonight we'll do what you want to do.
There's a catch here somewhere.
I know, let's go to one of those cheap little fun drive-ins.
Oh, let's. I know one that serves the most delicious corned beef
Then
hash.
let's go.
Wait a minute, Elmer. I just happened to think. In those places, you never know what they put in their corned beef. And my stomach is ever so delicate. I simply can't eat hash unless I see it made.
She lives in a boarding house where the hash isn't made, it accumulates.
I know. Let's go to the Biltmore Bowl.
There's the catch.
Biltmore Bowl.
She sensed opposition. Here's where they show their genius. Watch the delicacy with which she handles this situation.
I have a selfish reason, Elmer. I want people to see me in your company. Why, it makes me so proud when people look at you. Why, you're distinguished. Why, if you could just see yourself right head and shoulders above all other men. Why, you belong. You have personality.
Now she is shooting the words. There is a point in her selection of the Biltmore Bowl. Being fashionable, it will give her a background, and being expensive, it will cause this $10 Casanova to worry. She has now decided that the time approaches when she must propose to him on her behalf. She knows how much money he has and that he will be afraid to eat. She has brought about a situation where in his impoverished physical condition, his resistance will be at its lowest ebb. We find them next at the Biltmore Bowl. The dinner is over.
Isn't that music just melting?
We are now beholding a matrimonially mad female about to operate for a wedding ring using the music as an anesthetic.
Well, honey, you didn't eat very much.
I wasn't very hungry, dear.
The way you ordered, first looking at the prices. I think the average girl couldn't read figures.
Honestly, I don't know how some girls can be so selfish.
Sad to heel suckers who imagine they are sore.
I don't know when I've been so happy just sitting here. Have you ever noticed how joy's so peaceful and quiet when we're together? I don't know what it is, but joys make me feel so safe and secure.
Ministering the ether.
I'm happy too, honey.
But for a different reason. He figures he can pay the check and have enough left over to buy breakfast at the corner drugstore.
Isn't that music just lovely? There's a feeling in one's soul, that mystic something. You know what I mean?
I understand, honey.
The anesthetic is taking effect.
My mother loved ivy-covered house, sit back among some shade trees. The man you love. Little kitties playing on the front lawn, waiting to greet their daddy with a kiss as he returns from the close of the day.
She memorized that out of the Dear Abby section of the Sunday paper.
I'd like to have some kids someday, too.
Elmer, people should be sure they're loved before they marry.
He didn't mention anything about marriage. He just made an innocent crack about wanting a couple of kids.
Elmer, do you know what causes divorces?
No, I don't know, honey. Marriage, I guess.
Showing the plane of intelligence to which she has finally reduced him.
Elmer, marriage has nothing to do with it.
Well, honey, most divorced people have married, I would say.
What causes divorces is the fact that people don't talk things over, like we're talking them over now. No, Elmer, before you ask me to marry you, you must be sure of the type of a girl who would be a good mother to your children, would help you save and struggle. You think that's that, Tom?
Yeah, I guess you'd be good with kids.
Are you sure, Elmer? You must be sure.
I'm sure.
And I would help you work and do big things in life.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, then, Elmer, I will marry you. I don't care what anyone else says. I will marry you. You darling, when did you first decide to propose?
Kisses may not spread germs, but they certainly lower resistance. Love is like a mushroom. You never know if it's a real thing until it's too late. I think you're now beginning to see. I think you're now beginning to see why the MAW considers such legislation so very vital and necessary. I'm going to show you the same man 5 years later. Well, I say it's the same man, but no man can be married to a woman for 5 years and be the same man. Oh, the old shoe is there, but the soul is gone. With the help of the professor, I will take you in a small, cold, rainy morning to that little ivy-covered house she mentioned. This is what invariably happens when a man responds to a female.
Where
go to sleep.
You're not going to go to sleep until you hear what I have to say.
I have listened to what you've got to say 1,537 times now.
Well, then you're going to listen to it another 1,537 times more. Why did you run after me? Why did you force your way into my life?
I have no idea. I'd give $1,000 to find out.
I could have married better men than you. I didn't need friends. I didn't need admirers. 9 men asked me to marry him, and 5, 6 have died and left insurance.
Just go to sleep.
Why did you force your way into my life? I didn't need you. You swept me off my feet.
If you don't shut up, you're going to be off your feet again.
You lay one hand on me and I'll scream for the police.
There wouldn't nearly be as many female patients in our hospitals if there were more patient females. I think I can safely predict that marriage will end up in the divorce courts and that woman will soon be out again circulating in search of another victim. I'm sorry the time does not permit me to show you the end of that man's tragic life. I could go on to say to the gentleman in the audience, remember, that spasmodic move of the eyebrow is equivalent to the slight indication of the cranium to a quadruple equine minus his visionary capacity. In plain English, a wink is as good as a nod to a blind horse. Remember, it is said of the airline, he will suffer capture rather than to let pollution touch his glossy coat, but if you take away the glossy coat, the animal is worthless. So it is with us in higher life. All men have conceptualized at one time in their lives the ideal of what they should be and are not. This ideal may be very high and significant, or very low and insignificant. May the good Lord have mercy on every male who does not have the little pamphlet I have with me this evening. This is the only true and authentic origin of the SP, MAV, MMW. With it only can men find their true happiness. Why this little pamphlet costs 25 cents a copy. Let me read you its preface. Definition of a matrimonially maddened female. A female who can take the wrong number on a telephone call, nurse it from a date to an engagement to a life of wedded bliss, and all the time make the man think that he was the aggressor. Why, Chapter 3 is worth the price alone. It tells you when to avoid women and when they're hungry. Think of all the money this will save you. Remember what happened in that 4 unfortunate different episodes I showed you. It can just as easily happen to you.
I beg your pardon, Professor, but I've been listening to your speech and I don't know when I've enjoyed anything so much.
I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen...
Professor, you have such a beautiful voice. I just love your delivery.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have a question. I'm staying at the Biltmore Hall, and the dining room closes at 8, and I'm just famished.
You like seafood?
I love it, do you?
It's my favorite food. There's a nice little grotto a few doors down the street.
Oh, Professor, I knew you were a gentleman the first time I laid eyes on you.
Let's pause here for a brief intermission to ponder the things we've just seen. And for those of you brave enough to see what lies ahead, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Oh, just one more thought. Love is such a silly thing. It acts just like a lizard. It wraps its tail around your heart and nibbles on your gizzard.
The train had leaped at curves and bounced along straightaways, rendering balance a praiseworthy achievement and a sporadic one. And the young man had pushed, and hoisted, and tucked, and shifted the bags with concentrated care. Nevertheless, 8 minutes for the settling of 2 suitcases and 1 hat box is a long time. He sat down, leaning back against the bristle green plush opposite the girl in beige. She looked as new as a peeled egg. Her hat, her fur, her frock, and her gloves were all glossy and stiff as novelty. And on the thin, slippery sole of one beige shoe was gummed a tiny oblong of white paper, printed with the price set and paid for that slipper and its fellow, and the shop that had dispensed them. She had been staring rapidly out the window, drinking in the big weathered signboard that extolled the phenomena of codfish without bones, and screens that no rust could corrupt. As he sat down, she turned politely from the pane, met his eyes, started to smile, got it about half finished, and then rested her eyes just above his right shoulder.
Well,
Well,
here we are.
Yes, here we are, aren't we?
I should say we were. Yep. Here we are. Well, how's it feel to be an old married lady?
It's too soon to ask me that. At least, well, goodness, we've only been married 3 hours. The young man studied his wristwatch as if he were just acquiring the knack of reading time.
We've been married exactly 2 hours and 26 minutes.
My, it seems like longer.
No, it's hardly 6:30 yet.
It seems like later. I guess it's because it starts getting dark so early.
It does at that. The night's going to be getting pretty long from now on. Well, it starts getting dark sort of and all.
I haven't got any idea what time it was. Everything was so mixed up and all. I sort of don't know where I am or what it's all about. Getting back from the church and then all those people and then changing my clothes and then everybody throwing things and all. Goodness, I don't see how people do it every day.
Do what?
Get married? When you think of all the people all over the world getting married as if it wasn't anything. Chinese people and everyone. Just like it wasn't anything.
Let's not think about a lot of Chinese. Let's not think about people all over the world. We've got something better to think about. What do we care about them?
Well, I know, but I just sort of got to thinking of them, all of them doing it all the time. Getting married, you know? And well, it's such a nice thing to do. It makes you feel rather odd when you think of them, all of them, doing it just like it wasn't anything. And how does anybody know what's going to happen next?
Well, let them worry. We know darn well what's going to happen next. We know it's going to be great. We know we're going to be happy, don't we?
Oh, of course. Only when you think of them, you sort of have to keep thinking. It makes you feel funny. An awful lot of people that get married doesn't turn out so well. And I guess they all must have thought it was going to be great.
Oh, come on, honey. This is no way to start our honeymoon with all this thinking going on. Why, look at us. Married. Everything done. The wedding all done and all.
It was nice, wasn't it? Did you really like my day off?
You look great. Just great.
Oh, I'm terribly glad. Ellen and Louise looked lovely, didn't they? I'm terribly glad they did finally decide on pink. They looked perfectly lovely.
Listen, when I was standing up there in that old church waiting for you to come down the aisle, and I saw Louise, I thought to myself, I never knew Louise could look like that. She'd have knocked anybody's eyes out.
Oh, really? Honey, of course everyone thought her dress and hat were lovely, but an awful lot of people seem to think she was so retired. They've been saying that an awful lot about her lately. I tell them they've got to remember her. She's not terribly young anymore. They've got to expect her to look like that. Louise can say she's 23 all she wants to, but she's a good deal nearer 27.
Well, she certainly wasn't knocked out of the wedding. Boy.
I'm terribly glad you thought so. Glad somebody did. How did you think Alene was?
I honestly didn't get a look at her.
Oh, really? Well, I certainly think that's too bad. I don't suppose I have to say it about my own sister, but I never saw anyone look as lovely as Ellie looked today. And always so sweet and unselfish, too. And you didn't even notice her. But you never pay any attention to Ellie anyway. Don't think I haven't seen it. Makes me feel just terrible. Makes me feel just awful that you don't like my own sister.
But I do like Ellie. I'm crazy for her. She's a great kid.
Don't think it makes any difference to Ellie. Ellie's got enough people crazy about her. It isn't anything to her whether you like her or not. Don't flatter yourself she cares. Only, the only thing is, it's going to make it awfully hard for you if you don't like her. That's the only thing. I keep thinking, when we get back
just a family around. Why, you know how I feel about your family. I mean, I think your old lady, I think your mother's swell, and your father and Ellie, what's all this talk?
Well, I've seen it happen. Don't think I haven't. Lots of people, they get married, and then it all goes to shit because people don't like people's families. Something like that. Well, anyway, don't tell me. I've seen it happen.
Honey, what are you trying to start all this for? Look, we're on our honeymoon. What do you want us to fight for? You look like you're just a little bit nervous. Wouldn't you like to take your hat off and let's don't ever fight, will we?
Me? What have I got to be nervous about? At least, well, goodness, I'm not nervous.
Well, lots of times they say that girls get kind of nervous and yippy on account of thinking about, well, what I mean to say is, everything's sort of mixed up right now. But afterwards it'll all be over, all right? Well, you don't look any too comfortable, dear. Wouldn't you like to take your hat off? And let's don't ever fight, please.
Oh, I'm sorry I was cross. Guess I did feel a little bit funny. All mixed up and thinking all those people all over the world. So way out here all alone with you, it's so sort of different. It's sort of such a big thing. Can't blame a person for thinking, can you? Yes, don't let's ever fight. We won't be like the whole of them. We won't fight or be nasty or anything, will we?
You bet we won't.
Guess I love your darn old hat off. Kind of precious, Arthur. I didn't see what it is. You like it, sweetheart?
It looks good on you.
Well, no, but I mean, you really like it.
Well, I know it's the new style and everything. It's probably great. Only, I like hats kind of like that blue hat you had. Gee, I like that hat.
Oh, really? Well, that's nice. That's lovely. The first thing you say to me as soon as you get me off on a train away from my family and everything is that you don't like my hat. The first thing you say to your wife is you think she has terrible taste in hats. That's nice, isn't it?
I never said anything like that. All I said
What
was...
you don't seem to realize is this hat costs $22. $22. And that horrible old blue thing you think you're so crazy about, that costs $3.95.
I don't give a darn what they cost. All I said was that I like the blue hat. I'll be crazy about this one as soon as I get used to it. What do I know about women's hats?
Too bad you didn't marry someone who'd give you the kind of hats you'd like. Hats that cost $3.95. Why didn't you marry Louise? You always think she looks so beautiful. You love her taste in hats. Why didn't you marry her?
Oh, for heaven's sake, what do I care about Louise? I thought she was a friend of yours. That's the only reason I ever noticed her.
Well, you certainly took an awful lot of notice of her today. On our wedding day. You said it yourself when you were standing through the church. You just kept thinking of her. Right up to the altar. Oh, right up in the presence of God. All you thought about was Louise.
Oh, honey, I should have never said anything like that. Like, who knows what kind of crazy thoughts come to a person's mind when they're standing there getting ready to be married. I thought it was just kind of crazy. I thought it would make you laugh.
Oh, I know. I've been mixed up today, too. I told you that. Everything's so strange, and me all the time thinking of all those people all over the world, them being sort of way off here all alone with you. Honey, I know you did all that. Only, I did think when you were talking about how beautiful Louise was, you did it with malice and forethought.
I never did anything with malice and forethought. I only said that about Louise because I thought it would make you laugh.
Well, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Certainly did not. Ah, baby, we ought to be laughing too. Hell, this is our honeymoon. What's the matter?
Oh, I don't know. We used to squabble a lot when we were going together, and then engaged and everything. But I thought everything would be so different as soon as you were married. And now I feel strange. I feel so sort of alone.
Well, you see, honey, we're not really married yet. I mean, well, we haven't been married very long.
Well, no.
Well, we haven't got much longer to wait now. I mean, well, the train will be getting to New York in about 20 minutes. Then we can go to the hotel and have dinner and do whatever we feel like doing. I mean, well, is there anything special you'd like to do tonight?
What?
Well, I mean, would you like to go to a show or something?
What? Whatever you like, dear. Only, I did think people went to theaters and things on there. What I mean to say is, I have a couple of letters I simply must write. Don't let me forget.
Oh, you're gonna write letters tonight.
Well, you see, I've been perfectly terrible. What with all the excitement and everything going on, I never did thank poor Miss Spring for her married spoon. And I never did a thing for those bookings McMaster sent. It's just too awful of me. Yes, I must write them this very night.
And maybe when you're finished, I could give you a magazine or a bag of peanuts.
What?
Well, I wouldn't want you to be bored.
Bored? As if I could be bored of you, silly. I'm getting married. Bored.
What I thought when we got in, we could go right up to the hotel. Anyway, leave our bags, have dinner, kind of quiet, and then do whatever we wanted. At least, I mean, well, let's go right up there to the station.
Yes, let's. I'm so glad we're going to the Biltmore. I just love it. The twice I've stayed in New York, we've always stayed there. Mama, Papa, and Ellie and I was just crazy about it. I always sleep so well there. I go right up to sleep the minute I put my head on the pillow. At least, I mean, well, way up high, it's so quiet and everything.
Well, maybe we could go to some show or something else tomorrow night instead. Don't you think that would be better?
Yes, I think it might.
Do you really have to write those letters tonight?
Well, I don't suppose they'd get there any quicker if I wrote them tomorrow.
There was a silence with things going on in it.
And we won't ever fight, will we?
Oh, no, not ever. I don't know what made me do like that. It got so sort of funny, sort of like a nightmare, the way I got to thinking of all those people all over everywhere. Getting married all the time, and so many of them. Everything spoils on account of fighting and everything. Got all mixed up thinking about them. Oh, I don't want to be like them, but we won't be, will we?
You bet we won't.
Reach me my hat, will you, sweetheart? Sorry, I was putting it on. Thanks. Sorry you don't like it.
I do so like it.
You said you didn't. You said you thought it was perfectly terrible.
I never said anything like that, you crazy kid.
All right, I may be crazy, thank you very much. But that's what you said. Not that it matters, it's just a little thing. Only it makes you feel pretty funny to think you've gone off and married someone who says you have terrible taste in that. And then goes and says you're crazy besides.
I never said anything like that. All I said was I like that blue hat. That's all I said.
No, that isn't what you said before.
Honey, stop it, will you? I love the damn hat. I mean, I love the hat. I love anything you wear. What more do you want me to say?
I don't want you to say it like that.
All I said was I like the hat. All I said.
Do you really? Do you honestly? Oh, I'm so glad. I'd hate for you not to like my hat. It would be well, sort of such a bad start.
Well, I'm crazy for it. Now that we've got that settled, baby, we aren't going to be off on any bad starts. I mean, here we are on our honeymoon. Pretty soon we'll be regular old married people. I mean, well, we'll be getting into New York, and well, look at us. Here we are, married. Here we are.
Yes, here we are, aren't we?
Things weren't going so great for the gods either. Remember Orpheus who lost his wife Eurydice to the gods of the underworld? Well, just maybe he would have been better off if he'd never made it to the church on time.
Oh, this is the third time in an hour that I've been awake from my sleep. And every time those lights come on, I have to make a speech. So here it goes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The author of this play has asked me to explain a few things to you before we begin. You see, she has given us a comedy or a tragedy. We're not sure what it is, we're not sure she knows it. But it's about those two unlucky lovers of legend. And Lord knows why she's dusted the cobwebs off this tale. But here it is. Three main characters act the part. Pluto, that's me, master and king of the underworld. And, of course, Orpheus and Eurydice. Now, I want to make it perfectly clear that I'm not the villain of this piece. Because there are no villains just as much as there are no heroes. But I've already told you more than you need to know. Oh, one other thing. Oh, about the ending? Well, it's shocking, bloody, and violent. And if there are any of you out there who don't have the tolerance for that kind of stuff, I urge you to leave the theater now. Thank you.
Eurydice! Oh, Eurydice!
What? Who's there?
It's me, Orpheus.
Who?
Orpheus, the musician and the songwriter.
You woke me. You always sneak up on people like that and wake them right up in the middle of a delicious dream.
I'm sorry, but I was looking at my wife. I was told I might find her here.
I was dreaming of moonlight forests with wild-eyed creatures with gossamer wings who fly through the trees looking for wind nymphs. What do you want with your wife?
Well, I want to take her back home.
That's a familiar tune.
It's no joke. I'm going out of my mind without her. I lose weight. I get palpitations in the middle of the night. And I roam the streets like a lost one. Every empty way is flat and empty.
Well, what'd you say her name was?
Eurydice, like the Greek man.
Well, there's no one here by that name.
We were only married a few hours, and at the wedding reception, she choked on a chicken bone and died before anybody could do anything for her.
Oh, what a pity. Some girls are blessed with a good fortune from birth, and others know the grief in a wedding dress.
It's no joke. We had everything arranged. We didn't even have our marriage consummated yet. Jeez.
I'll tell you. I'll let you look at your wife. But with one little condition. That you don't look at her as long as you're both down here in the underworld.
But why the condition?
Let me finish. If you should weaken and look at her, the higher gods will never let you come back here again. I promise.
But that's crazy. That's insane.
And she must never find out about this condition either. Because if she does, she'll melt into the mist and you'll embrace a favor. As for the condition, let's just say the higher gods are a little jealous of your musical talent. They like to see you sweat a little, that's all.
But I'm not...
And one other thing I must say. If you do weaken, and I hope you do, you give her so much of a look, a million hands, whim. What? That's right, Orpheus, that's right. You give her half a look, a million hands will you limp from this, and never let you come back here again.
Wait a minute, that's how it was in the myth. I'm not a myth, I'm real.
Oh, all of us have some mythical quality about us, and you're no one special.
Okay, I don't know about reality fantasy. I came down here to get my wife.
Okay, but you remember my conditions. And sit down and make yourself comfortable, I'll go get her.
Oh, gods of the underworld, ye no good for nothing so-and-sos. She wants to dance, and I sneak a glance. Or she wants a kiss, and I turn in bliss.
Well, here I am, Orpheus, quite pure and ready to go.
Eurydice, my wife.
I thought you'd never get here. What took you so long?
Well, a lousy traveler who didn't know north and south. Bad connections, terminals, don't ask.
Turn around. Let me look at you.
No, I can't. I can't. That's very.
I can't wait to get out of here. Nothing but nymphs chasing satyrs and satyrs chasing nymphs and those groaning cows. Oh, they never shut up. And I can't wait to get out of this wedding dress either. We're going to have some more comfortable.
Of course, we're not now, lady.
What's the matter with you? I just want a kiss.
Jeez, I can't, Eurydice, I can't.
You act as if you're not even happy to see me. You don't love me anymore. You don't.
I came all the way from North and I don't love you anymore. My God, Eurydice. I can't even say no. I can't do that.
You used to hold me and kiss me, and now you won't even look at me. All I want is one look, just one lovely look.
God, we'll never get out of here.
I don't care. I hoped and prayed you'd come for me, and now that you're here, you're colder than a clam. I'm your wife, and all you give me is the back of your head.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Eurydice, you get the front as soon as we leave this hellish place.
Don't yell at me.
I love you, Eurydice. Trust me, dear, trust me.
Trust you? Trust you? You know I don't like to nibble on chicken bones, but you kept saying, everybody's nibbling a little, so nibble. I nibbled, and I choked to death.
Hey, are you letting me you choke on a little chicken bone?
It was a little piece of ice that sank the Titanic, wasn't it?
Come on, Eurydice, just let's get out of here. I'm gonna take me on a phone.
Maybe if you and everybody else, including my family and relatives, didn't panic so much, I might be alive today. But no, nobody knew what to do for me. You kept stuffing something else down my throat. Lettuce, stale bread, fingers. Anything. And now all you do is stand there like a dumb rock. Turn around, Orpheus, I'm talking to you.
God, it's gonna be dark soon, and I don't even have a flashlight or a map.
Oh, I had plenty of time to think about that day and everything that happened. The way you acted toward my family, and the way you treated my aunts and uncles from California. Aunt Dorothy and Uncle Fred were very hurt. They gave us a very nice wedding present. $500. And you were nasty and abrupt with them all evening.
Well, geez, your Aunt Dorothy sounds like a buzz on her. Geez, your Uncle Fred spins when he talks.
And you didn't even have the common decency to thank my cousins, Bob and Beverly, for the blender they got us. So they don't know the first thing about music, but they've always been good and generous to me. When I was a kid, they used to bring me coloring books and games when I was sick. And they don't deserve the cold shoulder from you or anybody else.
Okay, just for you. The next time I see him, I'll play a Romanian Rhapsody. Anything else?
I know you don't want my mother to have to the apartment, but I do.
I thought we'd agreed you were going to pick out the colors for our kitchen and bathroom.
Come on, I died before we could agree upon anything.
Well, she's not picking out our furniture.
I don't want her to feel that she's totally excluded from my life just because I'm married.
Who's excluding her from anything? I just don't want her to interfere and tell me what kind of bed
Is that what you think of her, that she's an interference?
She picked out my barber for the wedding, didn't she?
That's because you were going to a boys' barber and not a hairstyle.
Well, I'll tell you what. If she furnishes our apartment the way she furnished her home, I'd rather sleep on a park bench the rest of my life.
She happens to have a very good eye for detail. So maybe some of the colors in her living room don't match in the ones in her bedroom. Class, but there's no law.
Why do you always say that?
Why do I always say what?
There's no law. Every time we have an argument about something, I always say there's no law that
It's
says
just a figure.
well, find a new figure. My ears feel like Chinese gongs every time you say that.
Yes, I did forget. You have very sensitive ears, like tuning forks. Remind me of buying you a pair of ear warmers for Christmas.
Oh, would you save your sarcasm for your students?
Look, I'll talk any way I like. And if you don't like it, well, you can just go back to your office without me.
Listen, I'm tired, honey. I didn't come down here to fight. The flight was a killer, and the ferry ride across the river wasn't exactly the Leonardo da Vinci with front door stabilizer, you know.
Oh, I suppose you think I've been living it up here, drinking nectar with the guys and picking boysenberries in the Elysian fields. Well, let me tell you something, darling. I've had my hands full here. A swan wanted to rape me. That's right, a swan. And when I first got here, they didn't know what to do with me. Juno wanted to turn me into a horse with wings like Pegasus and some other genius. Poseidon, I think. Wanted to put me in a seashell. Don't ask me why. In the meantime, I've been living here in Pluto's palace, working as a wine judger. Oh, Orpheus, I missed you so much, and here we are fighting. Let's make up. Let's kiss.
Come on, Eurydice, go.
Every time the lark sang, I looked up to see if it was you coming to take me back, and every time the flute rang, I thought of you, and oh, Orpheus, I want to make you happy and be a good wife.
Come on, Eurydice, just don't.
We'll be so happy together in Yonkers. We'll have a big family with lots and lots of pets and 2 station wagons. And when we make more money and become rich and famous, we'll buy a little house up in the orange country and we'll go there for Christmas holidays and roast chestnuts in the fireplace and in summers we'll go hiking and go swimming in warm ponds and pick blackberries and make our own
But we
brandy.
can't, Eurydice. Just come on, don't.
And we'll lie in the girls and massage each other down and we'll take a shower together and
We can't. Come on, Eurydice.
And at our honeymoon, we can go to
talking battle known as the Battle of Sexes. The stage is set and the players are in place. Let us begin from the beginning. Most unlikely place for a battle. Garden of Eden? Or is it?
Saturday. I am almost a whole day out now. I arrived yesterday. That is as it seems to me, and it must be so. For if there were a day before yesterday, I would not have been there when it happened, nor should I remember it. I feel like an experiment. I feel exactly like an experiment.
Monday. The new creature with long hair is a good deal in a way. It's always hanging around and following me about. I wish we could stay with the other animals. Cloudy today. Wind and east. I think we shall have rain. Where did I get that word? I know now. New creature.
Tuesday. I followed the other experiments around yesterday afternoon to see what it might be used for if I could. But I couldn't make it out. I think it is a man. I've never seen a man, but I feel sure that that is what it is. I realize that I feel more interest toward it than any of the other reptiles. It is strange. It has no lips. It seems like a carrot with its stand and spreads itself apart like a derrick. Maybe it's architecture. I was afraid of it at first, for I thought it was going to chase me. But by and by, I realized it was only trying to get away. So I tracked it along for several hours, about 20 yards behind, which made it nervous, and it climbed the tree. I waited a while, then gave up and went home.
Sunday. All through. This day is getting to be more and more trying. We set apart last November as a day of rest. I already had symptoms for a week before. This morning found a new creature trying to fly apples out of a forbidden tree.
Wednesday. It ended up in the tree again. Roosting, apparently. It looks to me like it's a creature more interested in resting than anything else.
All through.
Wednesday. Now, flotation is not kind. When I went there earlier this evening, it had crept down from the tree and was trying to catch a little speckled fishes that play in the pool. Well, I had to caught it to make it go back into the tree and left it alone. It used language. Gave me a thrill, for I had never heard speech, except my own. When I found it could talk, I felt a new interest for it, for I love to talk. I talk all day and in my sleep, too.
I wish it would not talk. It is always talking. Right on my shoulder, right on my ear. And I have only used it to sound something more like distance.
Next Sunday. All week I tagged around after him and tried to get acquainted. I had to do all the talking because he was shy. But I didn't mind it. And I used the sociable we a great deal, because it seems flattering to be included.
Thursday. The new creature says it was made out of rib taken from my body. This was probably doubtful, if not more next. For I have not missed any rib.
Monday. This morning I told him my name, but he took no interest in it. It is strange, for if he should tell me his name, I think it would be more pleasant in my ears than any other sound.
Monday. The new creature says the same as he. That is all right. I have no objection. It says it is not an it, it is a she. This is probably doubtful, yet it is all one to me. What she is were nothing to me if she was to go by herself and not talk.
Tuesday. No, he took no interest in my name. I tried to hide my disappointment, but I suppose I did not succeed. I went away and sat on the lock bank with my feet in the water. It is where I go when I hunt for companionship. Someone to look at, someone to talk to. It is not enough that lovely white body painted there in the pool, but it is something, and something is better than utter loneliness.
All through.
Wednesday. We are getting along very well indeed now and getting better acquainted. He does not try to avoid me anymore, which is a good sign, and Chelsea likes to have me with him.
Saturday. She has taken a beseeching me to stop going over the falls. What harm does it do? Doesn't make her shudder. Wonder why? Went over the falls in a barrel. Not satisfactory to her. Went over in a tub. Still not satisfactory. Swam the whirlpool and the rapids in a fig leaf suit. It got much damped. And tedious complaints about my extravagance. I had too much hamburger. What I needed to change is
Wednesday. During the last day or The minute I set eyes on a creature, I know what it is. When the dodo came along, he thought it was a wildcat. I saw it in his eyes. But I saved him. I just spoke up in quite a natural way and said, well, I do declare, that is the dodo.
Wednesday. I get no chance to name anything myself. The news, everything that comes along. It's always the same pretext as others. It looks like the thing. The dodo, for instance. The moment one sees it at a glance, it looks like a dodo. Dodo, it looks more like a dodo than I do.
And so the battle began, even with Father Adam and Mother Eve. And today, in this new age of enlightenment, even from the first cries in the nursery, the battle has, yes indeed, continued on.
fighters are special on the outside.
Well, girl fighters are special on the inside. Girls have long hair, and boys don't.
That's not true. My brother's got just as long hair as you.
Boys wear pants, and girls wear dresses.
I wear pants all the time.
I don't get it. It's all too strange.
It's all confused.
In some ways, we're different from girls.
But in some ways, we're not different at all.
Yeah.
In some ways, we're different.
But in other ways, the same.
Yeah, we all part. And brain.
And hands and legs, and we all eat hot dogs. And we all throw up.
We all go to sleep.
And we all wake up.
And we all go to the bathroom.
How do your lunchbox? What do you do?
I'm mad.
So do I. And when I fall down and cut my knee real bad, I cry.
So do I.
Well, I don't.
We saw you.
So in some ways we're different.
But mostly, we're the same.
I wonder why that is.
I want to play.
In some ways we're different.
But mostly, we're the same.
How come?
Because
We're all people!
Sometimes viewed as something other than human. It's a matter of one-upmanship.
Boys,
I'm flying suits and leotards with lacy trim. Boys and girls can run away. Girls can make pink pennies every day.
Boys and girls can ride like the wind on horseback.
Girls can put matching ribbons in their hair and horses made it makes them out of track.
While boys and girls can dress up for Sunday school.
Girls can wear fancy dresses and long braids, which is really cool. Bossy and mean. Girls scrape their knees, but not as much as it seems. Boys and girls put Transformers and My Little Ponies.
Girls are wearing bows, and that's not baloney.
Well, boys and girls grow up to be big and tall.
But that's not all.
Boys don't have such useful tummies.
They can't grow up to be mommy. I'm a girl. A girl plays games. She's a human being. Someone to make friends with.
Girls can be friends with a boy. He's a human being too. Boys can be a sister, brother to a sister.
When you're little, you want to hurry and grow up. But when you're grown up, you see how cute little girls are, and you want to be a little girl again. When you were little, girls are a pain in the neck. When you grow up, you realize that we also get afro, and you're glad you grew up.
And I'm glad I'm a boy.
Dear, and give me back that Disneyland sweatshirt I said you could wear. I'm not good enough to play on your team. I'm not good enough to be friends with your former friend, Janet. P.S. I hope when you go to the dentist you find 20 cavities.
Dear Janet, here's your stupid Disneyland sweatshirt. If that's where you're going to be, I want my comic books back. Now, finished or not. No girls ever played on the Maple Street baseball team. As long as I'm coach, no girl ever will. Your former friend, Richard. Yes, I hope when you go for your checkup, gives you a tetanus shot.
Dear Richard, I'm changing my goldfish's name from Richard to Stanley. And don't count on my vote next year for class president. Just because I'm a girl and a member of the ballet club doesn't mean I'm not a terrific baseball player, too. Your former friend, Janet.
P.S. I see you lost your first game. 24-0.
Dear Janet, I'm not saving you for seats on the bus. For all I care, you can stand the whole way to school. Why don't you just forget about baseball and learn something nice, like knitting? Your former friend, Richard. Yes, wait till the next baseball game.
Speaking of playing, do you remember when Frisbee was just a game, and it didn't matter if you were a girl or a boy, and then suddenly, as you grew up, things began to become unclear, and your thinking got all mixed up?
When you're a toddler, you don't know and you don't care who's a boy and who's a girl. So if you want the Frisbee, you take it, even if it's from a boy.
When you're 5, you're beginning to notice the difference between boys and girls, but you don't think it matters. So if you want the Frisbee, you still try to take it. You give me that Frisbee! When you're 9, you notice the difference between boys and girls. So to avoid the hassle, you get your own Frisbee.
You're 10, James Bond. Because the one with the Frisbee gets kissed.
When you're 12, you don't want the Frisbee anymore. You want perfect hair, makeup, and trendy clothes. When you're 14, you sit on the Frisbee and cheer your boyfriend on the football field. Go! Go! When you're 16, you ask guys if they want to play Frisbee. You're already got to death. Hey, you want to play Frisbee?
When you're 18, it's a quick game of a tackle Frisbee on the beach at a beach party. So let the games begin.
Oh, the games people play. Will there ever be anything like this? It all started for me in the 4th grade. Love strikes at different times for all of us. And when it hits, it can be both painful and humorous. Let's take a look at several couples and how they handled the first stirrings of romance.
And I've got something 10 times funnier than that. It's called a goddess in tennis shoes.
Great, let's hear it.
Okay, you play a goddess.
Goddess, you gotta be kidding.
I'm not. Ready? Let's go. My mind wandered free from the purpley ditto sheet that glared up at me.
Now, class, you must concentrate on your spelling test.
While my 4th grade classmates labored like vassals in medieval England, I ventured fearlessly into the hallways of a Gothic castle. I knew the odds I had to face.
Sir Butch, Warwick Castle is bound by 500 guards.
And their swords are tipped with poison.
Deep within me surged a raw courage which no other human had ever experienced. Blood boiled and froth bubbled at the corners of my lips. Deftly, I slid my sword from its scabbard. With an intense fury, I charged into the jaws of death. Millions of guards pressed upon me. They oozed in from secret passageways and battlements. Wave upon wave of arrows rained upon my shield. Then, with the strength of a score of men, I methodically slashed down the demented beings. Finally, the brutal conflict was over. All was silent. With wild anticipation in my throbbing chest, I lunged toward the oaken door for which behind lay my treasure. I reached out a trembling hand and threw it open. And there, with her back to me, was my goddess. She was taking a spelling test.
Are you concentrating on your test?
Her desk lay right in front of mine, but miles of space lay between us. She a goddess and me freedom. I struggled to spell an insignificant word. Its meaning I knew not. Was it I before E, except after C, or X before Q, except after K?
Butch, are you finished with your test?
Yes, Miss McNoodle.
Sit down and remain quiet.
What a vision. I loved everything about her. I even loved her wonderful medieval romantic name, Patty. I loved her hair that hung low near the front of my desk. I even loved her dulcet voice and her ears. Oh, her ears had style and grace. And she had a way of chewing her number 2 lead pencil that drove me wild. She never left teeth marks. What impressed me most was her attire. While the other girls wore little girl sandals and slip-ons, she had the most fantastic black tennis shoes I'd ever beheld. They were daringly low-cut with red stripes down the side. What a woman. Now came time for my perilous journey home. I kept my hands on the hilt of my trusty sword. Thrice that week I'd been ambushed by marauding highwaymen, but thrice I'd beaten them back and emerged triumphant without even a smudge on my gleaming armor.
Stop it, John!
What do I hear?
I'm gonna tell my mama!
It's Patty! With Moose Crowley, the local 6th grade bully. Heroes never have to worry outside. I seized my blade and wheeled it above my head ready to strike.
Don't you dare move!
I hit you! What? Wanna fight? No? Good. Disappear in the midst of Coeur. Then, miraculously, my sword reappeared out of the air. That was fortunate because I had to slay a dragon and save a toad from an evil wizard on the way home.
It won't work out. Nothing I do ever works out. I'd ask her, she'd laugh at me. I'd be the laughing stock of the whole school. Then again, I could ask her, she could say yes, they have a perfectly good time, get married, have kids. Who am I kidding? That would never happen. But if I did ask her, how would I do it?
Brian should be calling me any minute now. I know he likes me by the way he smiles at me at the whole school. He's so cute, and I know he'd look just great together at that dance.
I know. She likes the intellectual type. Something like, hello, Wendy? Yeah, it's a rather pleasant day out there, isn't it? Yes, I was wondering if you'd like to accompany me to the dance at Friday night at precisely 7 p.m.? Oh, that'd be splendid. Makes me sound like a nerd.
I wonder why he hasn't called me yet. Maybe he made other plans or can't go. No, I know he forgot about it. But how could he do that? It's only the biggest event of the school year.
I know. She likes the macho type. Girls go for that kind of stuff. Yo, Wendy! Yeah, you going to the dance with me on Friday night, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah, well, you better look spectacular, because if you don't, you know what that could do for my image. That makes me sound like a retarded Rambo.
You're so popular, you wouldn't ask me. And anyways, probably ask someone else. Those smiles, they were probably him just being friendly. Ginger says it's the 80s, and to go ahead and ask him. But what if he'd say no? It'd be all over school tomorrow.
I know. She likes the shy type. There's a new thing going around or something like that. like to go with me to the dance on Friday night? I mean, you don't have to say yes. You can say no. I'll only commit suicide or something. That's totally lame. I might as well do an obscene phone call like, hello, Wendy. I don't know who I am, but you better go to the dance with Brian on Friday night or I'll sneak into your house and cut your throat. No, Mom, I didn't ask her yet. Not my keys, you old bag.
I guess if I really want to go, I'll have to call him.
Hello.
Hi, Brian.
Yeah?
This is Wendy.
Oh, hi, Wendy.
I was wondering, I mean, maybe you've already asked someone, but would you like to go to the dance with me on Friday?
You're asking me to the dance on Friday? 1 second, okay? Yes, this is so awesome! That'd be cool.
Really? I was so nervous about calling you, I thought you'd say no.
Whatever gave you that idea. So I'll pick you up around 6 then?
That sounds great.
Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah!
What's the matter?
Nothing. I told you I'm no good at that stuff.
Well, you never learn if you won't try.
I wish Ernie was here. He goes to dances all the time. Real ones, downtown.
I want to dance with you, not Ernie.
I'd give anything if I could be like that.
Now why?
Because he's a smooth talker. I admire that in a person. I always get things twisted up.
What sort of thing?
Things I wonder about. One thing that really bothers me. I tried telling my mom about it, but
But what?
every time she looks at me, she sees something small and pink wrapped up in a blanket.
Well, try telling me.
See, I've got this feeling I ought to be someone, special.
Who doesn't? I want to be a poet. What's other than that?
Yeah, but you got what it takes. I'm just ordinary.
Ordinary? Is that what you think? You think I'd hang around with you if I didn't think you to be special?
You do?
Of course. That's why you and I can talk.
I guess we do talk better than most people. Well, even Ernie, I mean, he figured it out. I don't really know anyone at all. Not even my own folks. Does that sound crazy?
Not to me.
Huh?
It seems to me the only people who really know each other are the people in love.
Maybe.
Arthur, how do you suppose it feels to be in love with someone?
Don't ask me.
Well, because I think I'm in love with you.
What are you a kid like that for?
I'm not.
Yes, you are, and I thought we were talking serious.
Well, if that's your attitude, I'm sorry if I told you.
But Janet, you were kidding, right? But Janet.
Don't worry about it. My age is perfectly natural to have crushes on people.
Yeah, but why me?
Frankly, I don't know. You're not the most handsomest guy in the world.
Thanks.
You see, I'm very sensitive about you. My mistake is I told you how I felt. Norma was right. You should let a guy know how you feel about him.
Norma doesn't know everything.
She knows plenty.
When did you find out? I mean, about me.
I can tell you the exact second. Remember the English test this morning? I saw you trying to decide whether or not to cheat from Billy Robinson's paper, turning sideways and back. And all you had to do was look over, but you didn't. I started to laugh. At least I thought I was, but I was actually starting to cry. Now everything you do is funny, and at the same time not funny. Well, say something.
I don't know what to say.
I guess you don't.
Don't be mad.
I'm not mad.
Yes, you are.
You really made a fool of myself, didn't I?
No.
Friday, my first sorrow. Yesterday he avoided me, and I could not believe it. home in the place that I first saw him the morning that we were made. But now it was a mournful place, and every little thing spoke of him. And my heart was very sore. And it was all a mystery. And I went to the new shelter that he had built to ask him what I had done and how I could get back with kindness again. But he put me out in the rain, and it was my first sorrow.
Friday. Built me a shelter against the rain, but the new creature intruded. When I tried to put it out, it shed water through the holes it looks with. She's taken up with a snake now, and I am glad because the snake talks. It enables me to get some rest.
Sunday. It is pleasant again now, and I am happy. But those were the heavy days, and I do not think of them when I can help it. I tried to get him some of those apples today, but I failed. I think the good intention pleased him. They are forbidden. He says I shall come to harm. But so I come to harm through pleasing him. Why shall I care for that harm?
Wednesday. That was about an hour after sunup as I was riding through a flowery plain where thousands of beasts were playing, grazing, or slumbering according to their want. When all of a sudden they broke into a tempest of frightful noises, and every beast was destroying its neighbor. But I knew what it meant. Eve had eaten that fruit, and death was come into the world. I looked up, and there was Eve. I was not sorry she came. She brought me one of those apples. I was obliged to eat it. I was so hungry. It was against my principles. She came to me curtain in boughs and bunches of leaves. When I asked her what she meant by such nonsense and grabbed them and threw them to the ground, she tittered and blushed. She said I myself would soon know why it was thus. This was correct. I set down the apple half eaten. Certainly the best one I've seen, considering the lateness in the season. And then I arranged myself in the discarded boughs and branches. And then spoke to her with some severity to go and get some more and not make such a spectacle of herself. She did. And then later, we crept to where the wild beasts had battled and collected some skins, which I made her patch shirts and suits, proper for public occasion. Clothes are uncomfortable, it is true, but stylish. And that's the main point about clothes. I'm coming to realize that she is quite a good deal of a companion. Also, she said it is ordered that we work for our living hereafter. She'll be useful, and I will superintend.
Friday. I tried once more to persuade him to stop going over the falls. That is because the fire which I had discovered had revealed to me a new passion, quite new and distinctly different from love, grief, and those others that I had already discovered. Fear. And it was horrible.
Friday. Perhaps I remember that she's young, a mere girl, and make allowances. She's all eagerness, vivacity, curiosity. And the world to her is a mystery, a charm and a joy. She could but just quiet down for a couple minutes at a time. Things would be much more peaceful around here. In that case, I think I could enjoy looking at her. Indeed, I'm sure I could, for I'm coming to realize that she is quite a remarkable creature. She's round, trim, nimble. And once, when she was standing sun-drenched and marble white against a boulder, with her young head tilted back and hands shading her eyes, watching the flight of a bird, I recognized that she was beautiful.
But how many times have we heard those words? If only I knew then what I know now. And now the battle has begun in the matrimonial battleground. Let us see how it all begins.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to speak to you for a few minutes. Just a few minutes that might change your entire life. No, I'm not selling anything. I'm here as a representative of the SP, MAB, MMW. Of course, the ones who know what the SP MMW is. It is an organization formed to protect man from the conniving intelligences of matrimonially maddened females. A matrimonially maddened female is a female who, upon being introduced to a man, immediately goes out and buys a hope chest and starts stealing silverware from our leading hotels. Our purpose is to combat these female culprits who prey upon our country's blossoming manhood in many nefarious ways. First, we are going to establish a colony where men can live without ever having contact directly or indirectly with women. In this colony, a man can bring up his children as he sees fit. First of all, we are going to tell you that in the matter of marriage, man is an innocent victim, a lamb led bleeding to the slaughter. Ignorant, if you will, foolish perhaps, but well-meaning and kindly. A victim who, in competition with the conniving intelligences of matrimonially maddened females, hasn't a ghost of a chance. I want you to picture a street. Picture any street, and a woman walking down this street. I would like to digress here for a moment. In the uncivilized days of the early West, the Indian savage, in anticipation of a massacre, always painted his face. This is a survival of that ancient ceremonial. The woman sends a victim. Here is the victim. Please remember that this man didn't even notice her. He is going someplace with a definite purpose. Did you see how the mind works? Psychologists call it association of ideas. Man, matrimony. Man, meal ticket. Man, bed and board. Yes, for her, a soft, downy bed, and for him, a hard, splintery board. Now let us imagine a scene at the Union Station a few minutes later. Here we find this fine, likable chap, at peace with the world, nothing but love in his heart, and kindness for his fellow man. Add to this, a woman on the prowl.
I beg your pardon, but do you know if the 415 stops at Pomona?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Remember who started this? He was sitting there minding his own business when this came into his life.
I don't like to bother you, but do you have the time?
Yeah, it's 4:10.
Thanks.
No problem.
No one seems to know if the 415 stops at Pomona.
She knows the 415 stops at Pomona.
I'll find out for you.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think of putting you to that trouble.
No, it's no trouble. I'll just turn on the red cap, so thank you.
So she traces this poor guy all over the station to find out. Women know that men like to consider themselves resourceful, so they make us believe we're intellectual giants. Believe me, they have forgotten more than we will ever know, and they know it.
This one does.
Does. Oh, yes, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
I must hurry. My bag is in the check room.
Won't you allow me?
Oh, no, I wouldn't think of putting you to that trouble.
No, it's no trouble at all. I'm taking the 415 also. My name's Elmer Clark.
Well, I'm not in the habit of speaking to strangers.
Pardon?
But you're so sweet and you're obviously a gentleman. My name is Tisha Crandall.
How do you do?
Naming women the weaker sex was Baron's greatest mistake. Women should do nothing to dispel this illusion. Why should they? It comes in mighty handy. Has that man done anything other than to act as a gentleman would to a lady? She has a heavy bag, and out of common decency he relieves her of it, for which he should receive the war's due a kindly deed. Well done. Yet when we see him next, 8 weeks later, as he waits for her on a street corner, his smile is gone. He's going through this precarious stage in a man's life, like going steady or keeping company.